In the quiet corridors of power, far beyond the reach of politics and the noise of elections, there exists a relationship so old, so carefully hidden, that most of the world never even questions its existence. The Vatican, the smallest nation on earth, and the United States, the most powerful sphere, a history of silent cooperation, shadow diplomacy, and invisible influence that stretches far deeper than religion. This is a story not of faith, but of strategy. For centuries, the Vatican has been more than just a spiritual institution. It has been a state, a network, and a master of information. Its diplomats move like ghosts through the halls of governments, whispering guidance wrapped in divine purpose. But as the 20th century dawned, the world changed. The Vatican needed a new partner, one powerful enough to protect its interests and help shape the moral direction of humanity. That partner became the United States. During the World Wars, the Vatican acted as a bridge between nations, not for politics, but for survival. In the chaos of global conflict, it became an invisible messenger, passing coded letters, diplomatic cables, and secret aid between opposing sides. The U.S. intelligence community quickly realized that the Church's global presence, its priests, schools, and missions in nearly every country could offer access where no army could go. After the war, as the Cold War began, this alliance deepened. The Vatican's moral authority and America's military power aligned against a common enemy: atheistic communism. Behind the scenes, religious and political forces worked together, shaping narratives, supporting underground movements, and influencing revolutions, all in the name of freedom and faith. Publicly, it was about morality. Privately, it was about control. In the 1950s and 60s, secret meetings between Vatican envoys and U.S. officials shaped policies that would affect nations for generations. Intelligence agencies quietly respected and sometimes relied upon Vatican intelligence, collected through its vast network of missionaries, nuns, and churches. They heard confessions not of sin, but of geopolitics. The Church became both messenger and observer, providing insights where governments could not tread. When a pope spoke, markets moved. When the Vatican withdrew its support, regimes fell. This was not a coincidence. It was orchestration through faith. The Holy See, with no army of its own, commanded an influence that rivaled superpowers. America, armed with ambition and technology, found in the Vatican a moral compass that could justify almost anything under the banner of righteousness. As the decades passed, the alliance evolved. In the 1980s, shared interests intensified under global ideological pressure. Spiritual diplomacy became high-level meetings between Washington and Rome discussed more than theology. They coordinated funding for humanitarian fronts that sometimes hid political motives. Missions became cover stories. Aid became leverage. Every prayer came with paperwork. It was a partnership of purpose, but also of necessity. One provided moral legitimacy. The other provided reach. Together, they became the architects of a global narrative that morality and freedom must move hand in hand, even when hidden agendas guided the motion. The modern age brought new challenges, as scandals, politics, and global transparency threatened the Vatican's influence. New forms of cooperation emerged. Data replaced doctrine. Soft power replaced sermons. Charities became think tanks, and religious outreach became cultural diplomacy. While the world debated faith versus reason, the Vatican quietly integrated itself into global policymaking. Its representatives attended economic forums, climate summits, and technology councils, ensuring the Church's voice remained part of the modern agenda. And through it all, the relationship with the United States persisted. The language changed, the strategies evolved, but the alignment of influence stayed unbroken. Few understand how deeply intertwined these two worlds remain. The Vatican's embassies, known as nunciatures, operate in over 180 nations, often holding intelligence networks older than modern governments. Their archives are filled with information on leaders, on nations, on history itself, accessible only to those granted divine clearance. Meanwhile, the U.S. continues to leverage moral diplomacy through values, messaging, and international aid, often echoing principles that find their roots in centuries-old Vatican doctrine. This is not a coincidence. It is synchronization, a subtle choreography of power, trust, and necessity. In times of crisis, their cooperation becomes most visible, yet least understood. From secret negotiations that ended wars to global health and education programs, the fingerprints of this alliance are visible if you know where to look. The Vatican provides the moral justification. America provides the muscle. Together, they manage perception, calm unrest, and shape global narratives that reinforce order. It is not conspiracy, it is continuity. The same dynamic that guided empires now guides democracies. The Holy Alliance never ended. It simply modernized. And yet, beneath this partnership lies a paradox. The Vatican preaches detachment from earthly power, yet its diplomacy defines it. The United States proclaims separation of church and state, yet its moral rhetoric often mirrors Vatican philosophy. The two institutions, one spiritual and one secular, have found a middle ground, a shared influence over the conscience of civilization. They have built an invisible bridge between faith and authority, one that controls neither religion nor government directly, but gently steers both toward mutual interests. In today's world of digital governance and global agendas, their collaboration has entered a new phase, one no longer limited by geography or secrecy. Through technology, media, and moral leadership, the Vatican's voice still echoes in American policy, and America's reach still amplifies Vatican ideals. When world leaders meet behind closed doors to discuss ethics, migration, climate, or morality, the echoes of this alliance can still be heard. A holy alliance not written in treaties, but in tradition. Not sworn in ink, but in influence. So when people ask how faith and power coexist in modern times, the answer may not be in a church or a capital. It lies in the silent handshake between belief and authority, a partnership that spans centuries, wrapped in reverence, shielded by diplomacy, and powered by something far greater than politics. It is the architecture of invisible influence, the moral empire that still guides the world from its hidden sanctuaries. Welcome to Hidden You. This is Case 10, The Holy Alliance, the Vatican's secret influence over American power. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as we do, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more hidden histories.